Welcome to Bite Size Rando. My name is Didier Kirby. Today we're going to learn more than you ever needed to know about getting past this green guard here on the way from Lost Woods to Kakariko, going south. Now, this is a screen traversal you'll need to make oftentimes in the early game, depending, of course, on how you like to route your early game. If you have the boots and the sword, you can, of course, just set up a dash, just dash through this guard, and then continue on your way, and that's really fast. It turns out you don't actually need a sword to do this, as long as your dash is on point and you don't get caught too much on that little lip here. So if I get caught on that lip a little bit too much, that guard will hit me sometimes. But if I make sure I have a good enough dash, not too far to the right, not too far to the left, then I'll slide past him, right? So as long as your dash is relatively good, you should be able to get past him, even without the sword. But what if you don't have the boots? Well, one thing you can do if you want to be extra safe against these guards is you can go down and left here to this ledge, hop down, and you'll be inside this ring of bushes here. You can lift these two in the south, and then continue on your way. So this is a very safe way in case you're like one heart away from dying, or I don't know, you're in one hit KO mode or whatever. But that's kind of slow. As you can see, my room time was like a 10:35 coming in out of that screen. So it would be really nice if we could just walk directly past this guard, kind of like that, and not have him hit us. Now, unfortunately, this guard has some different RNG patterns. So sometimes if you try to do this, he'll cooperate, he'll be really slow and react slowly. But other times he'll react more quickly and he'll charge at you. And other times he might actually go to the left instead of upwards. Okay, so there's a few different RNG patterns. I have so far found 3 different RNG patterns for this guard. I'm not sure if that's all of them, but that's what I've found so far. So the strategy that I like to use for this room is I like to, coming out of Lost Woods, I'll hold down, and if you just hold down, you'll kind of get caught on this lip, right? So you want to nudge yourself to the right, so you don't get caught on that lip at all. Okay? You don't want to go too far to the right, like if you're hugging this tree, that's too far and the strat won't work. So nudge yourself to the right, and then right before right in front of the guard, you'll want to switch to going diagonally down and to the left. And that movement should juke out the guard's movement, okay? So that he won't hit you. Now, as I said, there's 3 different RNG cases. Here's RNG case number 1, where the guard reacts slowly. This is the easiest one, so that will work every time. And you'll end up with a room time of about 9:01, which is pretty good. Here's RNG case number 2. Now this one's a little bit more tricky because the guard will come at you and you'll have to get the right timing to juke his movement so that he will just slide past you. You want to juke at kind of just the last second. Okay? But that should work for both of these RNG cases. Now unfortunately for RNG case number 3, he's going to charge to the left and there's nothing you can do with this strategy to avoid that, and you'll end up exiting the room with a time of maybe 9:18 or so. So you'll lose some frames there. Now, if you want a different strat that will avoid the guard for all 3 RNG cases, what you can do is you can swing way out to the right and then go all the way back to the left. So here's that with RNG case number 1. Okay, here's that with RNG case number 2. And he actually just stops and looks at you, so that's easy. And with RNG case number 3, it's a little tricky, but you'll just slide past him and manage to squeak your way by. And overall, this is going to end up with a room time of maybe 9:20 or 9:24. Let's see what I get this time. This is going to be about 9:18. So unfortunately, I don't really recommend this strategy, even though it always avoids the guard, because the overall time it takes, so you lose the amount of time that you lose from doing this wide swing out is kind of equivalent to the time that you lose by getting hit in RNG case number 3. So I like to just do this one and kind of gamble on the 2 out of 3 odds. And if I get the 2 out of 3 odds, then I'll get out with a room time of 9:03. And if I unfortunately am unlucky enough to get hit, then I will complain about my bad luck. And then I'll move on with a room time of 9:20, and it'll still be pretty respectable. Okay. You might be wondering, what if you have like the hook shot? Now you can stun this guard. But overall, that is still going to be about the same. I think I executed that kind of poorly, but yeah, let's see. You'll end up with a room time of about 9:18 by stunning that guard. So I would actually recommend, even if you have the hook shot, to not waste your time trying to stun him and just try to walk past him. Now, of course, in the bottom half of this room, you can use the hook shot to hook to this tree here, right? But as you can see, you have to be a little bit careful when you're using your hook shot here, because it's easy enough to hook shot to that tree, okay? And that will save you some time. See, I exited with a room time of 9 seconds flat. So that's for this tree, it's fine to hook shot. But for this tree here, you have to be careful. I would not recommend trying to hook shot to this tree, because sometimes it'll work just fine, but depending on your spacing, it will not work. So for example, if I'm here, you'll see that the hook shot just fails to catch onto the tree for some reason. And that's just kind of a thing with downwards hook shots, and it depends on your exact Y coordinate. Sometimes it'll work, and other times it will not work depending on your Y position. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend trying to hook shot to that tree. But overall, really, you just need to remember this one strat, where sometimes you'll get hit, and other times you'll manage to juke past the guard. So nudge yourself to the right, and then nudge yourself to the left at the last second, and then hopefully you'll slide by that guard and be on your way to Kakariko, right? Hopefully this helps. I know this was a very minute optimization, but I always got really annoyed getting hit by this guard, so I wanted to make a video on it to explain his behavior and the strat that I currently use. If you have a better strat, feel free to share it in the comments, but otherwise, you can try this one out in your next run.